it's really okay not to know stuff. And the more that I experience and the more that I learn and the more that I know, I also know that it's okay not to know and to just keep myself open to hearing other points of view, other perspectives, other opinions, and that asking questions can always generate new thoughts and new knowledge. Welcome to a new season of Leadership Live podcast, where talented people become extraordinary leaders. I'm Daphne Horowitz, and I'm here to help you cut through the noise and talk about real leadership issues. Down to earth, solid, caring and confident leadership. No theory, no pie in the sky, no frills or fluff. Because this is what the world needs most right now. For you to lead with confidence, clarity and impact so that you can build a business that builds people, grows profit and makes a difference. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining me today on Leadership Live podcast. And for today, I've got a solo episode where I really would like to share a story and some of my thinking and reflections. And the topic for today is based on the book by Oprah Winfrey called What I Know for Sure. And this book comes with a great story. So first of all, let me tell you how I came across this book. I was given it as a gift a few years ago, and it's been sitting on my bookshelf for a while. I haven't actually looked at it, but every so often I dip into it and read a chapter here or there to just get a bit of inspiration or something to think about. And last week I picked it up on one of my opportunities to just look across my bookshelf and pick out a book that calls out to me and just open it on any page and read a chapter. And this time this book called out to me, What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. And I actually started in the intro. And in the intro, she describes the story of one time when she was actually at a loss for words in an interview. And this was an interview by Gene Siskel. And as the time came to wrap up her interview with him, he asked her, "Tell me, what do you know for sure?" And she describes this moment when she's been interviewed so many times. She's been an interviewer so many times. And this was a moment where she was at a complete loss for words. She didn't know how to answer it. This question stopped her in her tracks. And actually, since that day, she describes how she stammered in answer, and it's actually quite a nice read. But she did say to him, "I need some more time to think about it." And since that day, she has carried this question with her. And it's something that she reflects on and thinks about. And in fact, it's come into her magazine as a monthly column where she shares with readers what she's reflecting on or what she's thinking about in answer to the question, what do you know for sure? And when I read this interview and I read this story, it also struck a chord with me because it's an amazing question. First of all, we can look at it on a completely superficial level and start reciting a whole wad of facts and figures that we might know or think we know for sure. You know, maybe something related to our expertise or related to our work or the world or whatever it is that we take an interest in. But actually, when you take this question and really stop, just stop whatever you're doing, and take a few moments to really think about it. What do you know for sure? And I would recommend grabbing a piece of paper and pen, or maybe even on your computer, it doesn't actually matter, and starting to write down whatever thoughts come up for you in answer to this question. And that's what I did when I read this question. And the first answer that came to my mind as I was mulling over it was, do we really know anything for sure? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know anything for sure, especially where we are with the world right now. There are always so many conflicting opinions about absolutely everything. But then, like I said, if you really stop and give yourself an opportunity to think deeply and really reflect, then there is a lot that we know for sure. There is so much to tap into. And what we can tap into is our own world of rich experience, gut instinct, feeling, what makes us who we are. We can have nuggets of realizations based on stories from our childhood or experiences from our current situation or anything in between. and we really get that clarity and insight into who we truly are and what life is all about. So here's what I would really encourage you to do, is to just take this opportunity, stop for a moment and really think about this question. And some of mine that came to mind as I took the opportunity to think about it were, I know for sure that I love my family and that having them around me brings me a lot of joy. I know that it centers me and grounds me. And I know that being with my family and feeling the love that we have for each other, even though sometimes it can be challenging and we can be in the middle of crazy fights and conflict, I know that that is a place that I can always come back to and feel centered and strong and joy and loved. I also know that I love lazy mornings. And if I have an opportunity where I don't have an early morning meeting, and I even try to create those opportunities every so often, I love to sip my coffee slowly, take it easy, think, and just enjoy this wonderful and occasional treat. I also know that I love to read something light on the weekends for relaxation, and that just brings me a lot of joy to have a few hours to escape into a really, really good book. And if it's a thriller with a good twist at the end, then just fantastic. I absolutely love that. I know for sure that I love my weekly practice of disconnecting from technology for a full 24 hours. And I do this every single week, over and over again. And I wouldn't give it up for anything in the world. I really feel that it gives me the ultimate rest and time to connect with myself and my family. So this is a family practice, and I wouldn't give it up for anything, not for anything in the world. I also know for sure that tomorrow is always a new day, and it doesn't matter what happened today, and it doesn't matter how hard today was. Tomorrow will bring new experiences, fresh thoughts and ideas, and opportunities to look forward to. I know for sure that having an impact feeds my soul. And this is why I do the work that I do. It's why I really put a lot of time and energy and effort into putting out content like this podcast or my weekly newsletter or the articles that I write, the books that I write. So those are the things that allow me to feel that I have an impact, and that really feeds my soul. And when I get feedback from a reader or a listener, it makes me feel absolutely joyful to know that it's reached someone. So if you feel motivated or encouraged to pop me a note or an email, let me know, because it really, really does mean a lot to me. And I always respond to anybody who writes me an email. I also know for sure that I have been consistently putting out content for the last 2 years. I've been writing weekly emails, which are just value laden, either with my reflections, thoughts, or something that I learned, or an exercise to share with you. That consistency over the last 2 years has really been something that has surprised me, and I'm very proud of myself for. So that's something I know for sure. And I know that it's been good for me. And I also know for sure, and I'm going to end with this one, is that it's really okay not to know stuff. And the more that I experience and the more that I learn and the more that I know, I also know that it's okay not to know, and to just keep myself open to hearing other points of view, other perspectives, other opinions, and that asking questions can always generate new thoughts and new knowledge. And I love to do that. So I love to enter into a conversation with someone who might have polar opposite thinking to me, and I know that by asking questions, I will just learn more. So I've loved this moment of reflection. I hope you've enjoyed me sharing a little bit of what I know for sure. And I really invite you to ask yourself that question. Then when you ask that question, really stop and think about it. Write some of those things down and see what you come up with. And I know I'm going to end with Oprah, who in the introduction to the book writes, "My hope is that you'll begin to ask yourself the very same question Gene Siskel asked me all those years ago. I know that what you'll find along the way will be fantastic. because what you'll find will be yourself. And that is what Oprah says, and I completely agree. And that is my invitation to you. So what do you know for sure? Head onto my website, daphnahorovitz.com, or write me an email, which is just daphna@daphnahorovitz.com, and let me know, what do you know for sure? Try it out, write down whatever comes to mind. Don't judge, don't try and make it perfect, don't try and make it look good. Just notice what you think about, where your mind goes when you reflect on this question, and how does it make you feel? So wishing you a wonderful day. Enjoy wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, and share your thoughts with me. I'm always here to hear, and I'm always ready and available to answer any questions that you may have. Wishing you all the best. This wraps up another episode of Leadership Live. Thank you for joining us today. And now let's continue the conversation. Do you have any questions, comments, or suggestions? Connect with me on LinkedIn or head on to my website at daphnahorovitz.com, where you can download a free sample of my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend so that I can continue to reach and support leaders just like you. So tune in next week to Leadership Live, where talented people become extraordinary leaders.